What is up, everybody? Today trade count for May 28th, 2026. Instead, I took two trades today. Well, one was pretty much a lotto, so I don't mind kind of. So pretty much one trade today, right, for $15,000 win. So absolutely insane day. In this video, I'm going to be covering pretty much what the market did today, right, on May 28th, what opportunities there are, what I saw today, and also what I'm going to be looking for the rest of the week, because we do have some names setting up on the higher time frame on tech that we want to keep an eye out for, right? So let's get right into the video. So let me pull up my alerts and pretty much talk about the pre-market game plan, what I was looking at this morning. So yeah, so pretty much, okay, I didn't have a pre-market game plan, did I? No, I did. So 829, right? QQ SPY opened within our previous day's range, right? Nothing really, anything crazy, right? So want to see us reclaim previous high first on SPY because it's right there. So you want, in the bullish scenario, once the SPY reclaim previously high, right? Just simply just want to see where the market wants to trend. And then 731 QQ. We had real floor news at 7:30, which came back negative. So let's see how the markets react to it at open. Main watch will be met above pre-market high. We'll just have to be patient and see which names show strength and weakness, guys. Literally exact same game plan every single day, which will be just be patient. Which names show strength and weakness, right? Guys, a pre-market game plan doesn't really matter. I'm gonna be honest. I only do this because maybe it'll help out some other people in my server. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter because we're gonna be patient and see which names show strength and weakness. We can have names on watch, but if we don't show strong price action, we're not gonna enter the name anyways, right? We're trying to enter on strong price action, right? Price action is number one. So pretty much 17 minutes later, right, Microsoft calls on watch. Why are we looking at Microsoft, right, guys? We had that news of Microsoft this morning that also got kind of showed in my news channel, but we had some news on Microsoft with like some chips or something. I don't even know. I don't remember. But yeah, so Microsoft, right, very, very nice price action. What do we see here, right? We have a opening up, and this previously high level, right? Yeah, so previously high level, right? Opening up near previously high level, right? Strong break down below and strong reclaim above, showing a nice break and retest, right? Very, very bullish price action, especially breaking above our 5 range high and retesting with strong price action. Just a very, very nice trend on this name, right? Like, look at this name, guys. Like, and when I even call Microsoft, right? So 847 Microsoft, right? Very, very bullish price action compared to all the other tech names that are consolidating. This name was the only name that was showing relative strength, so I had it on watch, right? 847 right here on Microsoft breaking above this 419.55, which is a level in the higher time frame. And again, for me, I just personally could not get entry on this name because I was just not aggressive enough, right? Just had to be very, very aggressive, and I kind of made up that mistake on Palantir, and I'll talk about it. But again, 917 called out Microsoft, and this name's ended up running $10 more to the upside. So I mean, absolutely insane. This trade probably would end up going easily over 200%. No, easy over. I'm not even sure actually. It depends on the context, but easily over 150% easily, right, on these contracts. So absolutely insane opportunities on Microsoft. You just went straight up, right? Very, very kind of obvious. So again, I was watching Microsoft, but just could not get that aggressive entry. So, right, I saw that Palantir was also showing bullish price action, right, breaking above our previous high level, showing a nice break in retest, showing that bullish price action above our 5 range high. Very, very bullish price action, right? We have our indicator showing the nice fair value gaps are forming with increased volume, and I just want to play with that trend. So simply saw us had this nice pullback at this 137 level, plus we had this performance fair value gap, so I know that'd be used as support if we had a pullback. So simply enter calls very, very aggressively, right? I knew my risk reward was very good because it would just be a break below at 137 key level right here, right? I just want to see a trend continue. And what happened? We ended up having that trend to continue, right? Same on Microsoft, the trend just continues. So we're just playing the easy names, the easy trades. We're just patient for those easy trades, guys, right? And yeah, I mean, very, very insane, right? We had a very nice move, like pretty insane. I did not expect just a big move on this name, right? The risk reward was really, 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 really good. So I ended up sizing up on this trade, right? Because I knew that I'm going to stop out underneath this 137 plus this fair value gap right here. So very, very small risk, right? Less than like a 6% stop loss for over 40-50% win, right? Potentially, right? We didn't know when I entered, right? But now we can just see an absolutely insane, right? We had that 9 a.m. macro popping up, showing very strong price action on Palantir, very strong momentum, and this name ended up going over 90% within like 5 minutes. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So pretty much within like 8 minutes, right? This name ended up going over 90%, which is absolutely insane. And yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the biggest trade of the year, and also one of the fastest trades I've had of the year. No, I think I've had fast trade. No, this is one of the biggest trades I've had, and also one of the fastest biggest trades I've had in a long time, right? Very, very kind of very, very bullish price action, and also Palantir also set up very, very nicely later in the day, and we'll talk about that later, right? Which we want to keep an eye on Palantir in the higher time frame. But again, right, Palantir absolutely insane price action. Also, ended up taking lottos. I'll actually go through the alerts, right? In Palantir calls, right, 138 TP1. Right, and this name's ended just rimmed to the upside, 30%, 1 minute, wow, 50%. Look at Microsoft and Palantir, both names called out, right? Over only two names to actually that are even viable. Actually, Palantir, Microsoft, and AMD were the three names that were showing good price action. But I don't like playing AMD just because it's a little bit more expensive. Just honestly, I could technically play them, but again, it's just a little bit more expensive. But AMD is just so bullish in high time frame. Like, look at this shit. Like, we're not trying to short this. Very, very bullish, right? We're only trying to long this name. You know, if you're trying to short this, you just want to lose money, right? Very, very bullish price action, especially once we're above our key levels in the higher time frame, right? We have this zone on AMD that we kind of can consolidate around and break above, right? Nice break and retest we can play off of. We know that, you know, if price comes back below the zone, we can stop out. We can, like, very, very easy zones, right? That we can play off of, guys. You have to understand and capitalize, right? And yeah, I mean, that was pretty much a Palantir trade. Let me talk about the lotto. I mean, I'm not really going to cut the lotto because that was pretty much break even, right? We ended up entering Palantir calls lotto, right? I think I don't even know how many calls I bought, but simply just off just a break and retest of that key level. I just want to see the trend continue and ended up hitting TP1, but I didn't really scale, right? Stop loss break even. I want to see a bigger move and being stopped at break even. That was pretty much today, right? I was satisfied. I was not more than satisfied, right? Palantir actually ended up having a really nice retest of VWAP later in the day, right? Very nice retest of VWAP. Also, technically, we're entered as well, and we end up having a nice bounce as well. So that 137 plus VWAP plus fair value gap right here end up being a nice area of support for the trend to continue, right? So I mean, very just insane day overall, right? Palantir, very strong buyers on that name. And now let's talk about the game plan, what we want to look for, what names we want to keep a watch out for this week. And yeah, did I miss anything? Yeah, no, okay, that's it. Okay, so we're gonna keep out 3 names on watch this week, right, guys? We're gonna keep a name out on Microsoft, right? Microsoft, especially above this 328, we have a very strong gap fill on the higher time frame, right? We have a very strong gap fill up to its 483, so we can expect strong price action, reclaiming these levels on Microsoft. So we want to keep an eye on Microsoft, especially above 428, but especially above 430, right? Very big wicks at this area, so we can break above and show strong price action. This can be a very nice name to kind of place the upside, right? Especially above this entire kind of big oral block zone, right? We have a very big gap fill to the upside on Microsoft. So we want to keep it on Microsoft in that 430, that 428 zone. It depends on the price action of that day where we kind of open up. But again, keep an eye on Microsoft today. I mean, this week. What other name? Right? Meta. We keep an eye on Meta as well today. Meta consolidated, right? But we have again, a very nice gap fill. So if we can show strong price action on Meta coming in the couple of days, maybe tomorrow or next weeks, right? This name has very nice momentum, stronghold at 600 key level. We have a very nice gap fill back up to that 658 and then potentially 655, right? And then also back at 700 on Meta, right? So very keep an eye on Meta as well, right? Meta's gonna be a name I want to watch on well. And then another name I want to watch is Amazon, right? Amazon. This name is slowly creeping up to all-time highs again, so I want to keep an eye on that for that breakout to all-time highs, plus that 300 key cycle, which I'm going to be targeting. Let me mark it out. So Amazon, again, we have to keep an eye on this one. This price action is a little bit choppier for sure, but again, we have to kind of identify, you know what, once we're above kind of this 276 area on Amazon, we want to understand, you know what, we have the all-time highs move in play. We can be a little more aggressive on this name. So I want to keep an eye on Amazon on that. Another name we can keep an eye on is Palantir. Right, Palantir, again, this name has a very nice kind of wedge breakout. We want to keep an eye out. Very bullish price action, especially once we're above, right? Ooh, actually, I'm just thinking. Yeah, so we're gonna keep an eye on Palantir for sure, especially above 145, right? We can target 145 and then we can target 150. But this is not as bullish in the higher time frame as I actually thought. Now I'm looking at it, right? We clearly have a consolidation wedge breakout, so we can keep an eye on that. But again, trend-wise, we're technically not bullish. We're breaking out, but we're not bullish yet until we kind of have a candle closure above 150. But again, we can keep an eye on Palantir, right? This name, you could technically be early to his name for a swing, right? This name is showing strong price action, finally breaking out of this insane consolidation on Palantir, right? And yeah, I mean, hopefully news will prop this name up even more, right? We know Palantir, right, is an insane company, literally insane company, right? So war should be helping this name, but I guess it just hasn't been, right? But yeah, so those are the 4 names that we're gonna keep an eye out, right? Wait, what's Tesla doing as well? Tesla as well. What the hell? Tesla, right? Again, oh yeah, we can keep out Tesla as well. This looks very nice, right? Very clearly bullish price action, bouncing off this 400 key level, right? Very nice break and retest, stronghold, and momentum is continuing clearly, right? Buyers are clearly in control on this name, so you want to keep an eye out on Tesla, just above our previous high. If we can go above that 445 tomorrow, I'll keep an eye on Tesla, especially above this 450. We can come on Tesla, especially because we can target that higher time for liquidity, right? Especially at this 500, right? This 480, right? There's a lot of levels we can kind of mark out, and if Tesla can have a nice move, we can potentially see all-time highs pretty soon on Tesla, right? This name usually has pretty insane moves, I'm gonna be honest, right? Look at this, right? Very insane breakouts near those key levels, so we have to keep an eye on that, right? This name could potentially have a very big gap fill. It tends to be doing that, right? There's many opportunities where Tesla's contracts have gone 2,000% plus over the day, so we have to keep an eye on all these names, guys. And yeah, damn, it's long retrade cap. I just kept yapping. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a trade recap. I think we went over the Palantir trade, right? Very straightforward. playing with the trend. I'm not doing anything crazy, to be honest, right? Microsoft as well. This was hesitant on that, but that one paid as well. So I wish I got into that as well, because that would be to say it would be like a fucking $30,000 day then, right? And yeah, I mean that's pretty straightforward, right? Again, when I make these trade recaps, right, I make it sound very simple how I find these setups. But again, guys, it's a combination of everything, right? My indicators, right? My own indicators I made, right? I know that we're bullish. I know price action is bullish. I know I'm playing with the trend. It's all these little things that help you kind of get confident into a trade. But the most important thing, guys, is your risk to reward, right? When I enter a trade, I know what am I risking? What is my risk, right? I know it's very small. And when you have a very small risk to reward or a very big risk to reward, right, you can understand, you know what, I can be aggressive on these trades, right? Maybe on Microsoft, it was a little bit more kind of skeptical because, again, like this name, I'm not used to playing this name, right? But right, when you kind of have a good risk to reward, that's what kind of gets you confident in these entries. So make sure you guys have good risk to reward on these names you're playing with the trend, because technically, right, your risk should be way smaller than your reward if you're playing with the trend, right? Look at the continuation on these names. Insane continuation on Palantir, insane continuation on Microsoft, right? Like AMD, insane continuation. Just pick the right names, and the risk to reward makes sense, right? And yeah, I mean that's pretty much a trade recap. If you guys have any questions, join Discord down below. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And I think that is pretty much it. Let me see some other things. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace.